takes perseverance to have a business in this space, and you have something that is pretty unique, I would say. And I remember listening to you on some spaces, and you kind of talking about what you're bringing to the table in terms of bringing small businesses into the fold that might not be into crypto to begin with, right? And so, I mean, first you're fostering community engagement in the XRP community and some of these other communities by providing things like the dog tags and the rings and the specialty arc plates and things like that, which that's a little niche in and of itself. But you also do just regular business products too, right? And
exactly.
So can you tell us a little bit more about that and like what your goals are on that? What I heard you talk about before, because I thought it was real smart on your part.
Oh, I appreciate it. Yeah, exactly. So the idea is that we could create these type of promotional products for virtually any audience. And so we're really flexible. And that I think, to your earlier point, is like one of our main strengths as a business, is that, we're not pigeonholed in one particular blockchain or project or protocol or anything. Like, we could work with pretty much anybody we want to, and that gives us a lot of flexibility. So the fact that we can create the same type of products for businesses that have nothing to do with crypto is huge. And we're definitely leaning into that. And then now going forward, that we have some of these NFC chip capabilities that we can embed in the products, which is that black dot that you were mentioning on the dog tag there. That is an NFC chip that you can actually tap with your phone. And then it has this XRP Vegas branded experience that you will see on a web app. And Brad and Danielle, after the event, all the way leading up to XRP Vegas 26, are going to be able to update that experience and communicate directly to each of you guys. And I think that's going to be a really great showcase of what we can do for brands. Because like, this is one big test case for us. And then in August, we have another potentially huge event that we're going to be testing this tech in as well. And then there's some other opportunities as well that are kind of early on. And I'm sure we'll be making announcements here soon as to exactly like what each of those entails. But there is interest in this type of technology. And right now it's fairly bare bones. I mean, it just sort of is like a communication channel. But in the future, there's a lot that we have kind of planned for it. And I can't wait to talk more about that too. But I mean, just when you think about like any sort of memorable event, like a wedding, for example, like if you could have an NFT, right? So like, what if? And I'm just gonna go ahead and lay it out, because like
lay it out for us.
Let's do it, baby. Let's do it.
I get excited.
Exclusive on Dipito Show, guys. Yeah. You heard it here first.
So I don't know if you guys saw at the booth those cards that I had. They were the ring raffle cards, but they were also NFC chip cards. And they're made of PVC, and we can print on them with the new UV printer that we have. So so obviously we could do like business cards and other things with that. And, the NFC could land on like a landing page, like a dot card or something similar. So we could absolutely do that. But another interesting creative use case for it that I thought of, Hema thought of this. Yeah, no, it was a fantastic idea. And I was like, oh my God. Do you want to explain it? Do you want to go for it?
Yeah.
It was her idea. It was her idea.
So, I was thinking, like, when you go to weddings, you have like the what's it called, the list?
Yeah,
gifts,
the gift,
like all the
registry. The registry.
Thank you.
Mm-hmm.
Like the RSVP, and I've seen at some events, like they have like a common place where they can drop all the pictures from the event so that everybody can see them. So I was like, what if you had this for like a wedding? And so these days, like the invite for a wedding sometimes are just digital. So what if we go back to like something physical? And so it could be this card that you can customize with like the pictures of either the groom and the bride, or a nice design. But then the NFC chip would lead you to this like a link where you could have access to all of this. So you could either RSVP, have the registry there. If you want to do like cash presents, then you can have the links to do that. or the cloud where you can actually put all the pictures from the event and everybody can see them after the event. So it's like a nice thing to also keep as like a memory of the day. So
Yeah.
I love that idea. I have a question already about that.
Cool.
So would you provide them with the temporary web space when you set it up, or would they? Because I'll tell you, I just got an invite not too long ago, and they tried to do a scan, where you scan to it, and then
Uh-huh.
you do your phone, and then you if your name's on the guest list, then you can RSVP. However, they put the wrong they spelled my name wrong, so I couldn't. It wasn't
Oh.
happening. And but the concept is good. The concept is really good. What you're talking about is taking it to a whole nother level. And
Right.
so I just wondered, like, would you provide them like a temporary web space as part of a package when they bought it, and then boom, like you say, they could have access to shared wedding photos
Yep.
and the lists and the RSVP, all of that, right?
Yes, exactly. So it would be also our way to get into kind of more like recurring revenue from like subscription type services as well. And that's a huge, like when we're looking to raise down the road, if we even need to, which I don't know, it's kind of up in the air, but like that's something that's a really big important thing that everyone's looking for is like, do you have recurring revenue as a business? Like versus are you going to have to like, get every single sale directly. But anyway, I mean, just being able to host that space, and then also having like cloud storage as an option for photos or videos or whatever that everybody could like crowd, source essentially all of like their perspective of the wedding. And then you get this like kind of encapsulated view of all of it, but you access it through the physical piece. And that I think is the cool element of it. Right. Is like, you have this memento that reminds you of the event that your best friend got married or whatever. And that was 3 years ago, but you can have that sitting on your mantle or whatever, or your shelf, and you could go grab it, you tap it, and then boom, you get transported right back to that event. There could be a comment board on there where you can just like say, hey, I know this was 3 years ago, but I'm still thinking about you guys, blah, 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 blah. And then, but only the people that were there could really kind of like interact in such a way. So I just think it's a really interesting idea. And what the wedding angle is one of, many ideas we have for it, but and we have a rudimentary version of it as well for the Vegas experience. And we're going to continue to integrate and update that experience, and Brad will be able to communicate with you guys through it. It's going to be really exciting. And then next year, I think we'll blow it out of the park.